So showing you a installation video of beautiful panniers from Adia. These are in Redwood green. So I'll just give you overview of. So this is the right hand side pannier, which has a relief. The left hand side pannier is a straight cut pannier. That is the left hand side pannier. This is the right hand side mount, and this part comes at the rear and this part comes at the front. It also has two restrainers which will go inside the box later on to distribute the load evenly across the box frame and not overloading the aluminium. There are already nuts welded here, so you just need to put these screws on later on. This one is the right hand side, right? And this is the front, this is the rear. Then you have this is a connector which connects the right hand side frame to the left hand side frame. With the help of these mounts, with the help of these adapters, it will connect RHS to LHS. So you will get two of these mounts, like one is connected over here. Then there are two cantilever connectors which are on the back side of the frame, right? So we are just calling it LHS cantilever support. This is the top part, and this is the RHS cantilever support, and this is the top part. Then there are also two horizontal supports which come in this. This is for the left hand side pannier, and this is for the right hand side pannier. So they mount on the foot peg. So we are calling it foot peg to frame RHS and foot peg to frame LHS, right? So these are all the members. All the hardware is already placed in it. Now we will start the installation. We will start the installation from this side first. So you will have to remove your rear seat when you start the installation. You will notice that there are 4 bolts which the OEM has provided here. You will have to open 1, 2, 3 and 4 bolts to mount this. Now if you already have a top box here, you can still mount the side pannier. There is no interference if you are using a Adia top box, because the top box is mounted at the rear and the pannier is mounted here. So the frame actually has 1, 2, 3 mounts. There is one more actually, but for that you need to drill. So here there is no need to drill any holes, right? And there is for the top box, there is a long bolt that we provide. So this is a long bolt which will hold the pannier on top, and it will hold the top box here. So you'll notice that the bolts are given in a way that there is a bolt, washer, then a bush for load distribution, and then a washer and a nut. So this will go in like this here, right? So this is how this part will come here. You have to put the longer bolt from top, and the shorter bolt goes here behind with this bush and spacer. So torque these two fully first. When this stud comes down, we will show you. See the front bolt, it has come down here and it is holding the frame of the top box as well. If you don't have the top box, you just put the washer and put this nut with thread locker. Again, please put thread locker when you have put both those bolts also, and that's all. So you just torque this fully then. So now the left side carriage is, right hand side carriage is assembled. So as I said, front, rear. Now we will do the left hand. So now when we are installing the left hand side, again this part comes front, this part comes rear. Again small bolt behind, bolt, washer, load distributing bush, bolt, washer, load distributing bush. Torque both these bolts fully, and then we put a nut from down. So now we are showing you how to reinforce the carriage with the foot peg mount. So the foot peg is mounted here. You can open the bolt that is holding the foot peg, and we would have sent you 1, 2, 3 and 4 spacers here, and this is a long bolt along with the washer here, right? So this goes in here inside this. So the front takes a 65 mm bolt, okay, and the back we would have sent you a 31 mm bolt. This bolt will come from here. It's a mushroom head bolt. This bolt will come on this hole, and then you put a washer and a nut behind. We have given you a little bit of adjustment so that it's easy for you to install it. So just a small correction. So you will mount this mushroom head bolt with a washer. You will have a 5 mm spacer here. Please use that spacer so that there is no direct contact of the cylinders, and then you mount this. So for the front, you'll have the bolt washer. Then you will have a bigger OD spacer here that goes in, and then you will have 4 of these smaller bushes. They go in, and then comes this part, and then you'll tighten. So on the RHS side, when you're doing the foot peg connection, you will be using 3 small bushes. There will be a washer here. The wider part of this bracket will be in the front. The narrower part will be at the back. At the back, you will have the mushroom head bolt M8, one M8 washer. This part will be butted. There is no spacer here, unlike the LHS, and this will be butted against this, along with a washer and a flange bit. All bolts please thread locker. So next, what we are installing is, it's basically a interesting member, very interesting member. It's a cantilever support. So this actually reinforces the carriage the most, right? Because it gives a sidewise support to the carriage. Now this gets mounted here. So just switch on the flash. Come from here. So if you see at the end of your chassis, where your tour pack, Adia's tour pack bracket gets mounted, it will actually get mounted underneath that bracket. Okay, so if you don't have a Adia tour pack, we would have sent you a 5 mm spacer here. So you will need to put that 5 mm spacer, which will act as a dummy plate for this. If you have a Adia top box, there is no need of a 5 mm spacer. You do not need to use it, and you can directly remove this bolt, and the same bolt will work here. So we have not mounted any spacer. It's mounted like this only, and you'll notice that there is a slot in this to move it front and back. So would want you to leave this bolt little loose right now. And then you have this adapter plate. Now you will notice that the adapter plate has a RHS and LHS. Okay, the peak part of the adapter plate, the taller part of the adapter plate, has to come behind. The shorter part has to go in front. So it will come like this, and this part gets engaged. So basically this slot along on this hole holds this plate, the carriage, and the cantilever connector. So that's how it will come over here, and it just butts like how I'm showing you right now, and it gets mounted with, this is the bolt that goes in there. It's again a mushroom head bolt. This will get mounted like this, two mushroom head bolt. This is a smaller bolt, this is a slightly longer bolt. So the longer one goes down because it's holding on to 3 plates. This one is only holding on to 2 plates. Again, washer and nut. And these are carriage bolts. So these bolts need to go into the slot here, and these you will use finally in the next step. So just keep this assembly loose. You have to make sure that the plate actually butts like this. The plate is not hanging like this, but it is butting like that. And these are self-locking bolts, so you don't have to worry. Once you have installed the bolts, you can actually butt it all the way up and align it with this, and then you can torque it up. And so this one has to be mounted again the same way. The bulking part is on the outside always. Again, that is a mirror of this. The bulking part is outside, the slimmer part is inside, right? It comes like this. Again, we'll open this bolt, and again, if you don't have a ADIA top box, you need to put a 5 mm spacer there. Otherwise, you can just mount it directly. So the same way we installed the RHS cantilever support, the same way we have installed this LHS one. You need to make sure that it's not interfering with any of the nuts and it is able to butt fully. Keep this plate loose, again butt it as much as possible on top. Once this is butted, the final element, yet important, is basically aligning this. Now keep it all the way back. There is a slot in this. Keep it all the way back and keep it straight on both sides, so it's not touching the number plate, and then you mount the nuts under it.